And by virtue of last night's Dallas victory over Seattle, where Jake Ottinger was good, but not great. Dallas just played like an awesome game. And two like individually awesome goals by Dallas, like a really fun sporting event. The Final Four, Ken, is now set in the National Hockey League. In the East, we've got the Florida Panthers, the upstart Florida Panthers, and the Carolina Hurricanes. And in the West, Dallas and Vegas. We can go through betting markets. I've got series prices. I've got game one prices. I've got the Conn Smythe market for us. I've got the Stanley Cup market. But yeah, it's a pretty unexpected Final Four, right? Florida, Carolina, Vegas, and Dallas.
Sure. Yeah, we started the postseason, and Boston, obviously, rightfully was the favorite. They'd had the best regular season ever. Colorado was the favorite in the Western Conference. The Rangers and Devils were both really highly rated and playing each other, and none of those teams have made it to this point, along with, obviously, there are a few other the player who's going to win the Hart Trophy for league MVP, Connor McDavid, his team, obviously got eliminated by Vegas the other night. So, yeah, it's in that way, it's been crazy.
Start in the East, where Carolina, minus 140 to represent the East in the Stanley Cup Final. Florida sitting at plus 115. My Panthers, bet them in every game in the last series against Toronto, had them for the series after they came back from 3-1 down to beat the Bruins in round number one. So Carolina minus 140, Florida plus 115. Thursday night is game one. Like, again, like stellar job by the NHL. 2 nights off now for like the entire NHL postseason here. Like, it's not like, yeah, we want to carry over any momentum. Let's just like, have 2 days off and have the Western game one be on Friday at night. Yeah, I'm just thinking a massive rating for Dallas and Vegas. So Thursday night game one in Carolina, Hurricanes minus 145, Panthers plus 120, total in that game sitting at 6. Ken, any series bets or thoughts? Game one bets or thoughts, Panthers and Hurricanes?
Yeah, I mean, both teams are kind of interesting in their own way. It's not identical, but it feels a little bit like the conversation we had about Lakers Nuggets yesterday, just in terms of when you evaluate a postseason series and who you think is going to win, like what are you valuing when you do that? And in the case of Lakers and Nuggets, you obviously you have LeBron as like the singularly great player in that series. So that's a little different. Like there's no LeBron in this series. Like he doesn't play for Florida, but Florida is interesting because are you valuing what the teams have done in the postseason more than what they did in the regular season? And if you do that, both teams stand out as very good. It's not like Carolina's been a slouch in the postseason, but the teams kind of seem more evenly matched, or Florida might even, I mean, if you look at the path, I mean, Florida beating Boston and Toronto is going to be more impressive than what any other team has done. And beating Toronto in under 7 games too, and not having the series go the distance. So I think it's kind of, again, another type of fun series where it's like, is this just another situation where like Florida is actually playing the best right now, but the market will never value them that way because of the regular season that they had? Like, NCAA tournament, as a team keeps like upsetting other teams, like they're always going to be an underdog because their like base rating, which is derived from how they played in the regular season in their conference tournament, like it can't change that fast. Just like the market's not going to be that fast to change a rating on a team like that. And so sometimes if you can spot a team early on and they have some things that you like, you can make a lot of money betting them. And this is true in like all of these postseasons. So I know that's been Florida for you in the last series as kind of like a team that's done this. And, is it possible that it's just like, it's the same thing again, where they're going to be dogs against everyone and they're actually playing like the best team. And so then the value is on them. I think it depends on the kind of like, do you value like body of work, regular season success? Then you're going to like Carolina. You would have liked Toronto. You would have liked Boston, all of Florida's previous opponents. And if you kind of value like postseason results a little more, or current form would probably be the right way to put it, then not that Florida should be like a big favorite, just that both teams are really good. Maybe the difference between them is very small.
It should surprise no one, Ken, that I'll be on the Panthers. I think I'm just going to bet. I don't know if I'm going to bet them in the series plus 115. I think I'm going to bet them in just every single game, the entire series. And we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to win.
Based on the things that guests have said when they've come on the show, there was so much interest in Dallas at the start of the last series. I just, as someone who doesn't follow the markets for hockey very closely, like series prices and stuff, I was a little surprised that the Knights were this big of a favorite in the series, I guess, just based on all the people who come on who like pound the table for Dallas, how much interest there was in them, their top line and their goalie, and they just like their coach. DeBoer was like, this is his first year. Like, remember, Dallas was my Hard Knocks team at the start of the year, so I actually had to do like a bunch of work on them at the start of the year. Like, Vegas really stood out at the start of the tournament. So did other teams, and I ended up betting on those teams instead. But just wanted to share that just in terms of like, you know, if they did win, like it actually kind of would make a lot of sense just in this kind of basic analysis. And the other teams all have a pretty glaring weakness or 2 or 5 in Florida's case, that where it would be like, well, that would be a pretty crazy champion historically. So yeah, we'll just start there. Look, I'm not going to put a lot of money behind this opinion because it's not a sport that I pay a lot of attention to. So I don't feel very confident like going into the market and be like, I know what it is. But yeah, Vegas has just been a team at the start of the tournament. And obviously that would be true now too. Just stands out a little bit in terms of how much they fit with previous Stanley Cup champions.
Our audience has been kind of like, our audience is great. The audience is growing.
Now we're doing this.
People are happy. Oh, yeah. I think it's time. I've actually been
is
thinking
it
about
May
this 16th? For a while.
It's time?
I think, let me ask you, when was the last time I did this?
Probably.
Was it this year?
Yeah. If it was like barely this year.
January?
Yeah, January. Yep.
Okay. This needs to be done. Tyler will know, is our technical director today, that Tyler, this needs to be its own podcast clip. I would like for you to title it something like, I don't know, like, Nick needs you to hear this. Or like, listen up, listeners.
Groundbreaking sports betting announcement.
Yeah, something like that. Or like, Nick's whale play of the millennium. Whatever. Or like, whatever you want. Connor Verhage.
Nick's whale play of the millennium.
Whatever. Look, we haven't done this in a while, and this is the unfortunate part, and, like, we know that you're out there listening and watching because, like, we see the metrics, and it's really awesome. But unless, like, and I guess this is a function, kind of more people listening to us on the radio, more people watching us on Twitch, more people watching on YouTube, on the Odyssey app, whereas at the start, like, people primarily, like, found us in podcast form. I know a lot of people still listen to us in podcast form, but unless, like, I ask, and you know what? Candidly, and you can leave this in, Tyler, and I've said this before, it's a bad job by me because, like, I should probably be, like, promoting, rate, review, and subscribe more often than I do, which is, like, literally never. Because I feel like it's obnoxious when people hit you over the head with it all the time. I should probably do it a little bit more, but since I haven't been doing that, here, you get this. If you're listening to the show, watching the show right now, live, or you're listening to this or watching this after the fact, podcast form, YouTube, Twitch, whatever, go to Apple or Spotify, wherever the hell it is that you listen to the show, and rate, review, and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating, write something nice as a review, and subscribe to the show if you haven't already. Take 10 seconds out of your day, you freeloading jerk. Also, we love you. Thanks for participating and being part of our audience. Rate, review, and subscribe to You Better You Bet. It will take 15 seconds, and it is a big help to us here on the show. Rate, review, and subscribe to You Better You Bet. Ken, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you killed it. I can't believe you picked now.
All right, thanks.
We just did a half segment of promotional stuff. That was pretty good.
George Brett.
Okay.
Major League Baseball Hall of Famer. Or Gorgeous George, professional wrestler for whom, like, many, like, modeled, like, their style after.
George Brett after getting ejected. A Pine Tar ejection match against Gorgeous George.
Pine Tar ejection at Yankee Stadium match. On the diamond at Yankee Stadium.
Right. Like, they check the bat and then the bell rings and then they both fight.
And George Brett
I'll say
kills
Gorgeous George because it'll set up some really funny conversations later.
I'm going to go George Brett because I think he's, like, the best actual athlete on this list. Tyler, George Brett or Gorgeous George?
A good George doesn't have 2 first names, so I'm going to go George's George's Gorge. There you go. I almost got it.
Actually, you never got it. You got it wrong.
Whatever you prefer, 2.0.
What's the opposite of sticking the landing? It's like that's basically what just happened.
Do me a favor.
It was like a triple flip and then a broken leg. Basically,
listen. I don't care who pulls this. Someone needs to pull like Tyler's answer to that question and he emphatically and confidently said at the end, "Now I've got it," and then butchered it worse than he had before.
Now I've got it. George's Gorge. It's like, no, you just. I beg to differ, sir. I don't think you had it. I'm just gonna objection.